Welcome to My Morning Coffee. Always bold, hot, and full of flavor. Gia and Tonya are My Morning Coffee. What's in your cup?
Hey everybody, welcome to another look at her. She just can't stop moving. Welcome to another edition of My Morning Coffee, where the conversation is always hot, bold, and full of flavor. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. We're just happy that you're here with us. And today we have listen, the conversation is going to be hot. Let me tell you why. Because we're going to introduce you to some people that I promise you didn't know before. Introduce you to an organization I promise you're going to want to participate and contribute to, because they're out there making the world a better place. And you know how we feel about that, especially for our young people. So hold on tight. Make sure you got your cup. Tune in. And before we bring them on, Gia, what's in your cup since last we spoke?
Morning, y'all. I just want to say that, y'all are in for something this morning. And so am I, because just like y'all don't know, your girl don't know either. Tonya did it again. She kept a secret and they let me know. So so I have coffee in my cup, y'all, but I have coffee in my cup because I'm celebrating today, because today is a big day for somebody on the podcast. Today is Miss Mackenzie's birthday. So I got my little party, it's your birthday coffee cup out, and I'm drinking coffee to celebrate Miss Tonya. She tries to, whip through this stuff because she don't want y'all to say nothing, but no, we ain't gonna have that today. So I want all y'all, whoever's listening, watching, in the comments, I need to flood the comments with happy birthday, Tonya. Happy birthday, T. Happy birthday, TT. Happy birthday, whatever. But I need to see some happy birthdays for her, because she don't like to celebrate. She tried to be all on the slide. So, and since she didn't want to let me know who the guest was today, okay, this is how I'm gonna get back with on her. But I haven't been up to much, Tonya, since the last time we saw each other. Been laying low because your girl, I don't know what's, I read something today on social media, and I'm at that age and I'm going through the change, right? And I've been having all these pains and stuff, and I was thinking it was one thing, but I read the article that said it might be menopause. Some of the things that's going on with me could be attributed to menopause. What happens to your body when you're going through menopause? So I'm gonna look some more into that, because out the blue, these pains be coming out of nowhere. I'm like, wait a minute. Some of the pains are from my my work injuries, but some of these things that I'm experiencing, I'm like, I don't know. So but I did happen to yesterday. I ran out real quick. And reason why I'm going to bring this up, and then we're going to get to the show. I like supporting others, and I'm busy like Tonya, but I'm not as busy as Tonya. I try to make myself busy so I can seem like I'm doing something. But no, sometimes I don't get to certain things. So the Pan African Film Fest is going on right now at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall, and the vendors happens to be friends of mine. So I wanted to run out because I know it. I believe it ends on Sunday, and I have a busy week this weekend. So I probably won't be able to get over there. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let's run over to the Baldwin Hills Mall. So I just want to see what's it like since the pandemic. We haven't had the Pan African Film Fest, I want to say, in a couple of years and stuff. So I ran over there real quick. It was later on in the evening, so I wasn't there long. And I just walked around a little bit, but also I was trying to say I was going to exercise. That was my exercise. If I went to the mall, I could walk around and get some steps in, That's how I was able to get Jeff to go. I had to throw that in there. Oh, I'm gonna get some steps. We're gonna get some steps in, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I happened to see some of my some friends of mine I haven't seen in a while since the pandemic. So it's good to see them. But I wanted to go out to support them because I like supporting others. So so I did that yesterday, Tonya. I went out and I saw some of the Black-owned businesses and some of the creatives that happen to participate in the Pan-African Film Fest every year. So it was good to see them. Good to see that they're still trying to do their thing. And the COVID, set a lot of people back and has hurt a lot of businesses and stuff. But it was good to see people out, people, regulars that were still out, promoting their craft and out there selling. So that was good. So if you guys have an opportunity this week, I think it ends on Sunday, get out there and see it. They're going to have a fashion show, I believe, this weekend. I think Saturday. Might be Friday and Saturday. I don't know the time, but check it out. So yeah.
Speaking of the festival, I actually have a friend who has a film there, and I'll make sure that I put the name of the film in the comments. But she was a victim of porn, revenge porn. So
okay.
It was one of the first revenge porn cases that was successfully prosecuted.
Okay.
And let me tell you, he drug her. Girl, they were overseas.
Wow.
When he started, yeah, it was crazy. But I'll make sure that I put the name of that film. Her name is Darith, and she's an amazing lady. She does films and a lot of work for the Discovery Channel. But we met at a conference, and she did a film that was released at our film festival out here. So I want to make sure that if you guys, are interested, she helped prosecute one of the first revenge porn cases. And this dude was a dirtbag, like released some stuff at her son's school. And it was pretty out of control, but she did not let him keep her from, he didn't put the fear in her. You know what I'm saying? Like she was worried more about her son and how he was going to deal with things than fear of him. And he threatened her life. And it was crazy. Like the story is insane, but I'll make sure that I put those notes down.
While you're speaking about the films that are being there, one of our previous former guests, they have something there too. The guys from was it My Father Brazil?
Belize or Brazil?
Yeah, they have I saw that they have a film there too this year too. So there's a lot of great filmmakers that they have a lot of shorts there and stuff. So if you guys get a chance to check out some of the movies, some of the shorts, those are also good too. So yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you.
So what's in your cup?
I had my white chocolate mocha this morning. It was, my little birthday gift to myself.
Okay.
But and I had to be ready for today because I got to be up, baby. I got to be up because we have some dope guests today. That is the flavor for the day. We're just gonna call it chocolate. We're gonna have
chocolate. Well, you know what, you're looking
chocolatey today up on the show.
You're looking like a nice Miss. I'm not gonna say you're looking like a Mrs. Goodbar there this morning. Okay, I will say on your birthday. So yeah. So,
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on Dr. Angela Parker of the Jenesse Center. And then we're going to bring on a couple more guests, but I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for being here. And I want you to tell us what's in your cup and how you've been doing.
Well, first of all, good morning and happy birthday.
Good morning.
So what's in my okay? I have
she got a red cup, Tonya.
No. I have a caffeine addiction, but unlike other people, it's not coffee, it's soda.
Okay.
So Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see.
You know what I'm addicted to now?
Brown in it.
Okay. I'm addicted to Coke Zero. I've been drinking Coke Zero, and it's like I'm like a crackhead about it. And you should see me. I go places now and I like, do you have Coke Zero? And I no, I'm like, what? You don't have Coke Zero? I'm like,
yeah, it is. It's a thing, and it gives you like burst of energy. So that's my thing in the morning. I know it's not healthy. I'm not advising it. I'm a doctor of education, not of health.
Okay.
But that's That's what's in my cup.
I hear you. So, caffeine, you needed caffeine for what? What's going on with you?
A lot of stuff. So right now, we're having our Raise Your Voice for Peace competition is what you kind of invited us to talk about. But before I get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jenesse Center for those of you who might not be familiar with our organization. So we are the oldest domestic violence intervention program in South LA. We were founded in 1980. We're actually the only domestic violence shelter that were founded by Black women for Black women.
Mm.
So we house families for 30 days in our emergency shelter and up to 2 years in our transitional shelters, and we offer them supportive services to get back on their feet. So one of the things we really pride ourselves is in ensuring that when a family comes through our shelter, by the time they graduate from the program, the mom is able to have permanent housing. They have a better relationship with their children, and they're able to have some type of stable employment so that they don't find themselves back in the cycle of violence that oftentimes has really engulfed their lives.
Now, you said 30 days. 30 days is the
emergency shelter.
Okay. And then after the 30 days, then what?
They can go into our transitional housing, and there they can stay for up to 2 years.
I'm familiar with your center years ago, and I'm so, I'm not gonna be mad at Tonya now because Tonya now she's connected me back to you guys, and I'm so glad because I've been looking for y'all.
Oh, great.
No, my sorority, our chapter, we donated things to the center years ago and stuff. And I'm always looking for a place because I don't have a shopping addiction. I just like nice things, right? And I shop, so I have things, and I have abundance of some things. And I've been trying to pack some stuff up to part with. Mm-hmm. And I want to give the stuff to either a shelter or a center and stuff like that. And I remembered the shelter, but it was always like hard to get a hold of somebody or get, because I understand why, because you are a shelter for domestic violence and you should be hard to get a hold of and stuff. But now that I know I have a direct connect to you from Tonya. Are you guys accepting donations, clothing donations, things like that, shoes, suits, stuff like that, business stuff? Are you guys, because I know at one time you guys were doing that, and it might have been, I don't know how long you've been working with the center, because it could have been before your pre you working.
Oh yeah, no, I you know what, I probably even met, because I've been at the organization probably 16, 17 years, so I probably am familiar with your sorority sisters. Who've come, but actually, yes, we are accepting items, gently used items right now. For anyone interested in donating new items, we always need like socks and underwear. And also items for boys and teenage boys and our male clients, because people tend to think of our women clients, and when they think of the children in the shelter, they think of our girl clients. But we have quite a bit. We're actually one of the only domestic violence intervention programs that take men and also take boys over the age of 12.
Okay, so I have men stuff too, but when the show is over, we'll probably talk offline, because I think will be an opportunity for our chapter to maybe partner with you guys and do a drive, because we do drives like that, sock drives, underwear drives, for the homeless and stuff like that. And I'm gonna pitch the center to the chapter. Us going to drive for some new stuff for one of our Z Hope initiatives and stuff. So for giving back. So yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
And Gia shops. She shops, and she likes to buy so much. She don't even buy stuff her size. Like, who does that? So she has stuff everywhere.
No, Gia, me. Because you look at stuff and you're like, oh, this looks like it's gonna fit, or it's gonna work, and
right. Yeah. So
I'm with you on that, Gia.
So yeah, so I will I'm gonna have some stuff for your center. So and I'll we'll hook up after, because this whole show could be about us donating to the center, but that's not what the show is about. So let's
that would be great. No, thank you so much for thinking of us. And I know a lot of organizations say this to the point where it sounds cliche, but it's true. Like, we couldn't survive without our community partners or supporters. There's just no way. One of the things we really firmly believe is that it's our job to give families a hands up and not a hands out. And so there's a certain quality of programming, a certain quality of items, that we want to give to the ladies and the men and the children, that we would not be able to do if we didn't have supporters like you and your sorority sisters, and just helping us get the word out. So we're grateful. Thank you.
Why do you think that is, though? Two things. Why do you think that is, that you kind of have to get people to understand it's a hand up and not just a handout, right? Because there's a level of humanity that's connected to that, what you just said. And getting people to understand that is so difficult. And then also, many people are surprised about the male element of your center. Why are these things so shocking?
So there's two things. One, people don't really understand domestic violence, right? Because it doesn't, when you really think about it logically, it makes no logical sense. Like, why would you stay with somebody who's abusing you, either physically, mentally, sexually, financially, right? And so because there is this sort of idea that a lot of the people who are involved bring it on themselves, there's a lack of empathy. Another thing that tends to happen is with men, because when people think of domestic violence, they only think of the physical aspect of it. There's this idea, well, men can't be victims, right? Because men are physically stronger than women. So there's no way that they can be victimized. So they don't take account men who are emotionally abused. They don't take into account men that are financially abused. They don't take into account men that may have issues as far as being undocumented. They don't take into account men that are in same-sex relationships, or men who just are not going to hit their wife or their partner back, no matter how much they may hit them. And so those are other things as well. Another thing is, it's the whole idea of shelter, right? So when people think of shelter, like, they don't know what it is, but it's this thing that's shrouded in mystery and it's all bad. And maybe it's like the YWC, and I always want to say not the YWCA, I'm sorry, because they always get on me, because the YWCA does great work, but they always think of it like some kind of dingy shelter with some cots. And so if you're thinking about shelter and you're like, okay, well, these are these people and they're in this dingy place with some cots, they just need anything I can give them, right? They just need to take anything, without really thinking that, no, like, just because they happen to be down on their luck and they happen to be in a shelter at this time because it's a last resort and they have nowhere else to go, it doesn't mean that they don't want nice things or the type of things that you would want in order to get back on your feet. So I just think it's the complicated nature of it, of what domestic violence is, and people not understanding truly what domestic violence intervention looks like.
I can appreciate that. Tell us about the event that you guys are going to be having.
Thank you.
Yeah, why are you having it? Who's involved? And all that cool stuff, and how people can support.
So I'm so excited to talk about this. So usually when people, they know about Jenesse Center, as you guys know about Jenesse Center, they know about our intervention work, but not a lot of people know about our prevention work. So for the last probably about 12 years, we have been doing extensive work with youth in the community through our Generation J prevention program. We work with middle school, elementary school, college, and high school students around the issues of healthy relationships and domestic violence through school-based programming, youth leadership building, and outreach and education. And one of the activities that have come through that is our Raise Your Voice for Peace music competition. It's going to be the 5th annual competition. And what it does, it empowers youth ages 13 to 18 to use their voices and their talent to speak about peace, to speak about healthy relationships in a way that they could connect with. And so every year we have it at the Grammy Museum, with the exception of last year because it was COVID. And we pick 5 very talented young people. And it is a way for us to spread our message of hope and healing and peace in a way that you can connect to, and in a way that you would not expect a domestic violence shelter to do it. And so we're just really pleased with the response that we've gotten and the ability to reach youth nationwide on our mission.
Well, we're going to bring 2 young lives on that participated before. Tell us about them.
So Jabez and Shaylin actually participated in our very first music competition, and they are incredibly dynamic young people. I mean, when they start to tell you what that they're doing, they're just gonna kind of knock your socks off. Shaylin was our first place winner. Jabez was our second place winner. And one of the things that so impressed me about that, I'm always impressed, which I don't know why, because our young people are always doing great things, but to really hear people talk about how they want to be the change that they see in the world and how they want to use the talents and the gifts that God has given them to spread messages to other people about how they themselves can make their generation better. It's just something that I'm just always like feel a particular humbleness to be able to work with them in any way that I can to uplift them.
Awesome.
And
well, let's go ahead and bring them in. Jabez, hey there, and Miss Shaylin.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Good.
What's up?
How are you? Can you guys hear us?
Oh, now I can hear you. I'm doing well. Thanks for having us on.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday, by the way.
See, Gia, you done got it started.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I appreciate that. But I really want to hear from you guys about your experience with the Jenesse Center and the event.
Shaylin, want to kick it off?
I can't hear her.
Oh, she's on mute. You on mute.
Jabez, why don't you go ahead and get started? Let us know your experience with the event and your thoughts.
It was an amazing experience from like start to end. It was just awesome. Like everyone I met, everyone was so loving and creative. It was just a room full of creative people. And I've never been in a room with this many creative people all at once. And it was just cool just being there and actually showcasing our gifts, our talents, and like being in a place that people are willing to like listen to what we have to say.
Well, listen, you're a young person, so I'm sure you got a social calendar. You got things going on. Why would you bother taking time out of your young people stuff to do this? Why do you feel the need to participate in something like this? Talk to me about that.
I love it. It's amazing what they stand for. I mean, it's just about being out there and just love and forget hatred and everything. Let's just love each other. I know hatred's a part of this world. I know evil's a part of this world, but we can't be so focused on that. We got to like spread some love every now and then. Like, and that's what Raise Your Voice for Peace is all about. And it's awesome that young people are doing it. So
Shaylin, go ahead and let us know about your experience with the organization and the event.
Hello, can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we're having some work done in our house, so the connection's a little bit everywhere. But yeah, so my experience with Raise Your Voice for Peace has been amazing. It not only opened up some great opportunities for after the show was finished, but it also helped me form relationships that, you know, I can have like with Jabez and some of the other contestants. And I got to just learn a lot. And it was really nice to do a competition, but for a purpose. Like, you know, it's not just, oh, I hope I win, but it's, oh, I'm working with an organization that's doing something and making a great change for the world and for Black women. So it was a great experience all around.
I'm going to add another voice.
I want to ask a few questions. How old are you guys?
I'm 20.
You're 20?
I'm 19.
19. Okay.
Baby.
Okay, so you guys are both in college, I'm assuming.
Right. Well, I'm taking a little leave of absence right now since I'm working on a show, so I can't actually be on campus.
Go, girl. Work your show then, girl.
Yeah, but I did finish my first semester at Howard with a 4.0. So
okay. All right.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Now, I'm going to add another voice to this conversation. Mr. Billy Johnson, I need you to talk to the people. Let them know what's in your cup, how you've been doing, and how you got hooked up with Jenesse Center.
Okay, well, right now it's just some water. Someone just tapped me into this new blood sugar control drink called Munich. and that's actually been getting my numbers together and all that stuff. So I'm not going to put that on y'all right now, but yeah. But that's what I
send
would
me that information. I need to get my sugars,
yeah,
my levels together too.
I'm gonna send that to you. But wow, today is what an amazing day. Tonya, you are phenomenal. Gia, thanks for having us, and Tonya, happy birthday. Jay Bez and Shaylin, wow. So I have a long history working in music as a journalist, and what they tell us about young people all the time about hip hop and R&B is that young people don't care about substance. All they care about is the opposite sex and money and all that. And Raise Your Voice for Peace just is the antithesis of that. Jay Bez and Shaylin are 20 and 19, but they were in the inaugural year of Raise Your Voice for Peace in 2018. So they were like, what, 15 and 16 at the time. And they celebrated the messages. In order to participate in this singing competition or singing and rapping competition, you have to perform a song with an empowering message. They did that. And Jabez had original lyrics that he prepared that we compared to like Tupac. And also, and Shaylin, she sang Nina Simone's Feeling Good. So like, they're just phenomenal. And, every year we have really incredible talent, and they take on these powerful messages. And so as you see Shaylin in Madagascar, A Little Wild, you're just so proud of her. But and what Jay Bez is doing, but I'm really proud of them because, as they continue to have an influence on the world, like they're bringing positivity with them. And so it's just amazing to just be connected with them at that stage of their career. And we keep in contact with them. And this year, they're actually the hosts of Raise Your Voice for Peace. And so we're very proud to have them. They're so talented and just nice people.
So he gave it away, Shaylin. Madagascar, Mama, you want
sorry.
to talk to us about that?
It's all good. Thank you for the kind words, Billy. But yes, Madagascar, A Little Wild is currently the Hulu show that I'm working on. I play Gloria. So if you've ever seen the original movie, it's a baby version. So all of the animals are babies, and we go through fun adventures through Central Park. Where we are actually in each episode teaching the kids a lesson, whether it's about true friends or about being honest. It always has a great message at the end of each episode, and you can find that on Hulu and Peacock.
Y'all heard that? Hulu and Peacock. Y'all better tune in, and because all y'all that got these kids out there, because y'all got them, these little young babies and stuff. Get in front of TV, and y'all support. Y'all support. Make sure, Tonya, we get all the information, because I'm just surprised that I don't know about this, and I'm like, I got goosebumps over here because I love to see young people doing positivity, doing positive stuff, because I've seen enough bad stuff in my life, in my career. So when I come across some young people that are doing it and speaking positivity, I want to support, and I want to let everybody know to support them too. So kudos to both of you guys. But I wanted to hear more about the event. When is the event? What time is the event? Does the event cost money? How can we get people at the event?
So the event is May 14th.
Okay.
It's going to be at the Grammy Museum downtown in LA Live. It starts at 7:30. And tickets are $25 for general admission and $150 for VIP.
Okay. Is there an age limit?
No, we want everybody to come. We already have our 5 finalists for this year, and I think they're just going to be really impressive and kind of like blow everybody away. But we want people to come of all ages. Really, it's a family event.
Okay.
And so we're going to be honoring Isaac Ryan Brown, who is on Raven's House, and Karis Rogers, who I don't know if you guys are very familiar with her, a phenomenal young lady who came up with her own a sort of kind of empowerment movement called Flexing My Complexion, in which she kind of stands in her truth as a beautiful, bold, dark-skinned Black woman.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with her. Reason why I asked the age group, I have a cousin. She has a camp Wanderlust for kids at inner city, And I think this would be something good that maybe she can bring the kids to. So I want to make sure I get the information to her, because she does this thing with kids. She has a bus and she takes them on trips, and all this she does out of her own pocket. So I want to actually turn her on. If she might already know about it, but I want to turn her on to that. So I think the kids in her program will really enjoy that, because they also do music videos and stuff like that. So I think it will be good for them to see that. Yeah.
Thank you. We would love to have them.
They have parking for a bus at the Grammy Museum. That's for sure. Just tell them to come on down.
Listen, I want to ask you, Shaylin and Jabez, because I know that you're very thoughtful in what you do. Everything that you've said so far and the things that you're doing in your own path show that you put thought and heart into everything that you do. So tell me what the work that this organization does and what domestic violence actually means to you at your age. What does it look like? And how do you feel about it being so prevalent in our society right now?
Is it okay if I answer that?
Please do.
I have quite a few takes on it. I think one is, we always say, like, you just never know what people are going through. We always say what situations we'll never end up in, or this would never happen to me, and then it happens to you or somebody close to you. So I think domestic violence is definitely something that needs to be talked about more. There definitely needs to be more organizations catered towards Black women, which is what I love about Generation J, as Miss Parker said in the beginning. But yeah, I think it's definitely a conversation that needs to be talked about more, because I feel like when somebody goes through it, they may feel people would judge them, or why don't you just leave? And sometimes it's really not that simple, especially when there's love and soul ties and a whole bunch of things into it. And I've learned more about it through, a friend. I'm not going to say too much on the situation, but you just never know what people go through. So I would say definitely support, show more compassion. I hope people donate more. I actually got to work with Generation J. We did a toy drive because in my high school, I was the president of our Black Student Union. So we got to partner up and do a toy drive and get some toys over for Generation J during the holidays. And yeah, that's what I would say.
I love that. Jabez?
I think that there should be more awareness for it. I mean, it's a sad reality that we live in, that Black women have to go through this constantly, like every day. And they should touch bases on this in school, honestly. Like, youngins, start young. You have to instill this into people young, that this is not right. That in a relationship, it should be a partnership. It should be love. It should be sitting down and talking and actually working through a problem, rather than getting angry and lashing out at someone. And it just confuses everything. So I truly think there should be awareness. And I love Generation J for, like, standing up for this cause.
I'm going to take the privilege in asking you guys about the fact that we're now in a society where governments are deciding what we read, how we process information, what we can know about our own history. And I'm asking this because you just said there should be more awareness at a younger age. At what age do you think we should start having some of these more difficult conversations? Because you guys have such leadership qualities. I feel comfortable asking it and kind of hearing from you, looking back on your own educational career in things like criminal justice or domestic violence or other issues that maybe we go through in our communities. What age do you feel like it would have been a good idea to start having maybe some preliminary conversations about what unhealthy relationships look like?
Well, I can speak, I don't know, from experience. Do you want to talk?
Go ahead. Yeah, have at it.
Yeah. So when I first started doing this work, like, I was under the impression that, it was too delicate. an issue to talk to with kids about, right? And so the first time I was asked to talk about sort of domestic violence to an elementary school, they were like 5 years, they were in 5th grade. I was like, oh, they're not going to really understand the issue. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to talk about bullying and being nice to each other and all this kind of stuff. So I get in there and I do my presentation, and then it's question time and the hands go up. And the kids are asking me questions about domestic violence based on what they're asking me. And that's when I knew that kids are aware of this a lot younger than we want to admit. And that you really have to start having this conversation, I would say, like Jay Best said, like from the very beginning, from when they really first get into school. I mean, obviously, it has to be age appropriate, but I think we're in a lot of times we're in denial about what kids are seeing and what kids are experiencing.
Yeah, so
go ahead, Gia.
I think it should be a space in elementary school, like you said, somewhere where the topic or a discussion can be had, because you're right. Those same kids that were asking questions, they probably asking you those questions because they witnessed some type of domestic violence in their home, or and stuff like that. So now they're at school and they were in a class where something was being talked about, and they felt comfortable enough to ask those questions. But you're right, it's kind of hard to say because we don't know at what age people experience different things. It could be as young as 2 or 3 years old. It depends on what's going on in that person's household, and stuff. But in elementary, there should be a space where it can be brought up and be a discussion. Like you said, it can age appropriate, but we should be talking more, because you're right. Kids are seeing a lot more than we think they're seeing. And I think we see things through our eyes when we were younger, or when our parents were younger, and times have changed with, just with society, and then also with the internet and social media. So they're getting stuff a lot faster than we did. And so we should be talking to kids, not, more, because they're harboring a lot of stuff. And when they don't get to release it, now they grow up, and then as they get older, when they do release it, sometimes they release it in not good ways, So I think if they had a place where they can express themselves and express stuff, they would be healthier mentally.
So as a child, I spent time in a shelter due to some domestic violence that was going on in our own home. One of the things that I didn't recognize until I got older is that domestic violence doesn't necessarily always have to be spouse on spouse. It could actually be family members, and no one teaches you that either. Is that actually a conversation that you have been able to have, or would make sense to start having? Because I didn't know that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? I just thought, my mom was getting beat up by her brothers, and that's just a thing. Like, that's just a thing. But I didn't call it domestic violence. It was just siblings fighting, but that's not what it is. It's domestic violence. When the women in your house are getting beat up by the men in your family, what other ways can we communicate these kinds of things to our young people? Because part of it is they don't know who to talk to either when it's being experienced. Half of them are probably scared to even raise their hand to ask you, because then you're going to ask them, why are you asking me this? What you done been through? Which then sends someone to their house. They don't want to be that person. How do you massage that? How do you really delicately educate young people about what this is and that it's not okay, in a way that allows for them to speak freely or reach out for help?
So there's kind of two issues in your question. So we've been trying in the field to make a distinct difference between intimate partner violence and domestic violence, because you're right. When you say domestic violence, people think of the intimate partner version of it, and so they don't connect with it. So we really have been saying, okay, intimate partner violence is violence that happens between people in romantic relationships, but there are these other type of violence that can happen: sibling abuse, elder abuse, parent abuse, right? And different things like that. So we've been really working to make that distinction. The other thing is, a lot of these toxic behaviors that youth are exposed to, a lot of them feel like it's normal. because they've grown up with it. They've seen it in their household. They've seen it in their community. They've seen it with the people around them. And so they've normalized it. So one of the first things that we do when we talk to youth about healthy relationships is kind of challenge them to unlearn what they have learned, right? And to redefine what their normal is. Because if you go in saying, oh, it's not right, that this, and this happens. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Like, that's always happened in my household. That's just kind of the way life is. They're not as receptive as to when you slowly educate them and help them get there on their own.
I love that. So this is for our audience, why we're having this conversation, because there's an organization out here, and I'm sure there's several, but Jenesse Center is here, and they do this work. They do the work that needs to be done in our communities to be able to help us be better, right? We need that. We need organizations. We need people that educate us, elevate us, and help us be better and live better lives. They're having an event we want you to support. It's important. It's family friendly. And right now, it's incredibly important that we get this message out. So I want to find out from you also, how can we support the organization more and help elevate this? And because this is a conversation that Gia and I have all the time. People be like, yeah, we got you. I got your back. I'm gonna support you. All right, we got. But like, they don't, you have to give people instructions. Okay. We have to teach people how to support us. So I want you to tell the people how to support the Jenesse Center, the event, people coming out of the organization. Like, talk to them, give them some instructions.
All right. Well, we have several ways you could do that. First of all, what you're doing right now is fantastic. Just getting the word out, because Jenesse Center, we've been around since 1980, and you'd be surprised how many people still don't understand that we're a community resource. So that's great. We're always looking for volunteers, people that want to come in and do some type of project with our families, either the moms, the dads, or the kids. That's always great. Donations, both like in-kind donations where you're donating items, and monetary donations are helpful as well. We have a website that you can go to, www.jenesse.org, to learn about the families. And then if you're interested specifically in Jeneration J, our youth prevention program, you can go to that site, Jeneration J, that's JENERATION
Awesome. And we'll put all that information below. I want to jump back over to Ms. Shaylin real quick. I want to share something with y'all because she's kind of dope. And so I hope she don't mind. 1 second. Let's make sure we get this sound up because we want to hear what's going on here.
Raise Your Voice for Peace was created to encourage teens to embrace healthy relationships and share their own power to make a difference through music.
It's very important for kids to raise their voice for peace because there is not a lot of peace in this world. And I think that we need more of it. I think that people need to come together and unite. And I think that children are the future. So it's very important for children to come together now.
Our voices are powerful. It's not about the skin. It's not about your race, ethnicity. It's about the voices. People need to be heard and keep positive and just have a nice verbal conversation with others so you can unite together.
We all have a voice. Use your voice. Create a positive change in the world around you.
It's just a blessing to be part of an organization that decides that we're going to go beyond the ordinary. Whatever we see and think that needs to be done to move the conversation around violence and peace in our community, we do it.
We want to empower them to be the leaders. We want to empower them to be peer-to-peer advocates. We want to empower them to break the cycle of violence.
Oh, that was fun.
We were so little. That's so crazy.
Starstruck when
I'm a really tall dude, huh? Like,
Yeah, you are,
dang.
J-Bez. You're pretty tall.
That's a trip.
I'm just in love with y'all. Listen, before I let you go, I got to ask you two, particularly this question. I know growing up, if my girlfriend had like this dude and he was nuts, I'd just be like, you need to leave him alone. He crazy. But I think part of the educational piece that you guys have been engulfed in lets you freely use words like that's toxic, that's dangerous, and be able to communicate that to your peers. Talk to me about that process. What have you learned and how have you been able to, through this process, be a better friend, a better citizen, a better supporter of your friends, especially when you see things that could turn into something not good for them?
I would say for me, what I did was try to understand the situation from that person's lens, their point of view, because you may think, like I said before, why don't you just leave? It's so easy. Obviously, if he's doing that, then you should just leave. But in their case, they've been manipulated for the past couple years. The person, the abuser knows what to say to keep them there. You have to look at it from their case of, they love the person or whatever their idea of love is, and there's a soul tie in it, and there's just so much. It's not easy to financially just, I'm gonna go move. You can't. So what do you do in those aspects? So I guess just being more compassionate, because when you're more compassionate and you actually give them the space to talk, you'll learn more about them and they'll be more willing to open up and then accept the help rather than, why don't you just leave it? That's why they don't say anything, So I would say just being in that way, just trying to look at it through their lens, and then from there, figuring out where's the best place to go from that, because sometimes they may want the help, but not necessarily know how to get it. Or sometimes they're not necessarily ready to leave the situation. So that's also like a weird place to be in, which is when you would go to an organization like, Generation J and the Jenesse Center, and then see if you can get them help through that way.
But being able to identify that is huge. Like those things that you're saying, I don't think at 19, that was something we were able to communicate, to identify, and problem solve like that. Jabez?
It's just about being open. Like, just like Shaylin said, like she pretty much covered all the bases, being open and being there for that person. Even if it's for them just to complain about the relationship they're in and for them to yell or scream, just be there. And when they're calm and when you're both just right there in that moment, then maybe they're willing to listen. Maybe they're willing to, be open to what you're saying. But don't forget to be open to what they're saying as well, and try to find some common ground. And then once you find that, then you can only move forward from there.
I love it. Now, you two, how can we continue to support y'all? Because clearly you're made for greatness. We trying to ride your coattails and follow you everywhere you go now. But honestly, how can the community keep in touch with you and just support what you guys are doing? Jabez?
Oh, you want me to go first? All right.
Yep, yep.
Just you can follow me at Jabez the King on Instagram. You know, I am currently working on releasing my newest single, "Do Your Dance," which is available for pre-save in my bio on my Instagram. So I've just been busy just doing my dream, like making my dream come true, like actually doing my music. And the way we did this deal with Hollywood Records and S Curve Records and my record label, Rhythm Beats Entertainment, it's gonna be amazing. So check me out.
I think Billy was he did that whole Tupac thing on purpose because he knows my weakness. Okay, I'm a fan. So we will be posting all of their information so that you can follow and support. And I'm a fan. You, Miss Shaylin, how can we support you, Mama?
Yeah, you all can follow me at Shaylin B. It's exactly as written right there. On all streaming platforms and all social media sites. On all streaming platforms, it's also Shaylin B. I do have a single out now called Magic. So you can go listen to that. And again, make sure you stream Madagascar Little Wild. I play Gloria again for those of you who may have just joined on Hulu and Peacock.
So we are going to be posting all of their information in the captions. So yes, it is important that you continue to follow and support. But even more important, know that clearly Jenesse Center is helping to create stars. So I don't think you want to miss your opportunity to meet some cool people before they hit the big time. And, you know, then they have an ambassador like Billy and us. So you want to make sure you stay connected because they're going places and they're doing things. And you're showing that this next generation is fire. Like, that is dope.
Look, I'm gonna follow y'all, and y'all better follow me back. I know I'm old, but y'all better follow me back, okay, on Instagram. So I'm gonna
okay, Lieutenant.
Of
course. We will. We got you.
She crazy. Y'all, you follow her. So we want to thank you two. We're gonna let you guys go, but we appreciate you sticking around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks. So listen, grown-ups in the room. Oh my God.
Yes. Oh my God.
And that's only two. That's only two of like the 15 contestants that we've had in the 3 previous years. And I tell you, when we were looking at the submissions and we finalized the 5 for this year, we're like, my goodness, we're just so proud to be associated with this great talent. And these are young people because the cap for the age range is 13 to 18. Yeah.
Wow.
And one of the things, and just really just like the fact that there's something that we're doing that is attractive to young people, and makes them want to be connected to us when they could be just doing whatever, you know, that's something that we don't take lightly.
So real quick, talk to me about the difference between generations, J generations, right? And then Jenesse Center. They're 2 different.
No, so it's all the same thing.
Okay.
So Jenesse Center is, I always call it like Jenesse proper, but that's the parent organization. And because one of the things we're known for and what makes us different is our program and services, we have a lot of different departments. So we have a legal department, we have a mental health department, we have a vocational education department. Jeneration J is our prevention arm, where we do school-based programming, outreach and education, and youth leadership building.
Okay.
So it's part of Jenesse, but it's just the name of the department.
The name of the department. Okay.
How do you guys partner with other organizations and, let's say, government entities?
So with government entities, basically that's kind of more of like a financial, where we get grants and we get foundation money through them for who are specifically interested in working with youth.
Okay.
Our community partners, so we either reach out to them or they reach out to us. We're really big on trying to work with communities, our community, and the youth organizations in our community. So again, we could talk to the kids there about healthy relationships and domestic violence. So we're always reaching out to schools. We're always reaching out to the different community orgs. There are organizations like Free Arts and Present Now, who are their own nonprofits, who will reach out to us and say, hey, you know, we would like to come into the shelter and we would like to do free art projects for the youth. Or, you know, we have our own youth volunteers who are interested in connecting with what it is that you're doing. How can we partner? Right. We have also had the California Partnership to End Domestic Violence, who is a statewide organization, reach out to us and want to hear from our kids, our leadership program youth, about like, you know, what do they think about domestic violence and how can they advocate it on sort of a local, state, and nationwide level. So, you know, it looks different with every entity that we connect with. But again, we are very grateful to have the opportunity to really connect, because we understand we can't do this alone. We can't do this alone. And we also understand that there are a lot of youth organizations who domestic violence is not even on their radar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we know that if you can't have a healthy relationship, both like romantically or with your friends or with your family, it doesn't really matter what else you're doing. You're not going to be able to thrive either now as a youth or as you move into adulthood.
Yeah.
I saw this meme earlier, and it was like, I talk about these memes. It was talking about Johnny Depp and Will Smith, and it was just like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're in a toxic relationship, you are never going to have happiness. And I think that is so key for people to recognize when it comes to toxic and unhealthy relationships, not just them, but anybody. If no matter what you have going on in your life, being in toxic relationships can burn it to the ground. I mean, it's like,
and some of that is not knowing yourself. So that's why when we also like do workshops with kids, it's about self-empowerment. It's about self-identity, because you can't ask somebody what are their boundaries if they don't have any, if they've never thought about it. And this generation is, Will Smith and Johnny Depp are older, but this generation is unique because they live their lives on social media. So everything is for public consumption, right? And so it's like there's not this thing that we had where we, you know, we developed like, oh, like, okay, you crossing the line now, because there's no line. And so that's 100%. Why it's really important that we talk to youth about what it is that they should expect from other people and what isn't appropriate, because honestly, they don't know.
Right. And that's what makes, to me, this generation kind of unhealthy, because like you said, they live everything out on social media and everything is not supposed to be that public. And I just think that's good that you guys have programs like that to help teach them and talk to them about boundaries and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, because they think everything is appropriate nowadays. And you know, so yeah.
And I think also with social media, you know, we had the very high profile case last summer where there was the young social media personality where everything she posted on social media was all perfect, but then she was in this toxic relationship that had the most unfortunate outcome where she was killed and he took his life. However, what was portrayed on social media is that they had the perfect relationship. So
like couple goals, relationship goals.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like it's all facade.
Right.
Yeah. For the gram. How about don't do it for the gram? How about don't?
Yeah.
But I would love to encourage people to also please check out our Instagram for Generation J at Jeneration J. One of the things that's amazing, Dr. Parker referenced the school talks. And so we take those presentations and turn them into social media content. So just by scrolling through the content, you'll see a lot of infographics, you know, that are talking about some of these issues. You know, what are habits of a healthy relationship? You know, what's toxic? How do you break up? How do you ask for forgiveness? So you can see this type of information that's geared towards young people. And actually, we're posting some things this week regarding Sexual Assault Awareness Month that have stats about teens.
Love it. So anything else before we let you guys out of here? Give that information one more time and it will be posted in the captions. How can they go to the event, find out more information about the event and attend?
So you can definitely find out more information by going to the Jeneration J website. And again, that's generation with a J, not a G, generationj.org. And also, I really want to, because I know I didn't mention this before, but if you or if anyone you know is a victim of domestic violence, Jenesse has a 24-hour hotline that you can call and someone will always answer. And that hotline is 1-800-479-7328. And you can get help anytime you need it.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and post that information and everything else. I want you guys to know I have some more videos to share of these awesome people. We're going to put those on our My Morning Coffee Instagram and Facebook. So y'all check it out. Follow and support these young people doing great things. And also, most of y'all grown and part of professional organizations. So can you make sure that you connect with other organizations that are doing great things? Because one thing I know for sure is that we are much better together. Yes. And the work that you're doing absolutely should be supported, elevated, and collaborations are everything, y'all. So it helps your brand, it helps theirs, and more great things get to happen and happen for people that actually need it. So take the opportunity to connect, collaborate, and celebrate what these people are doing. We want to thank you guys. Oh my God.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love Billy.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody loves Billy. Billy is like, how can you not love Billy? If you don't love Billy, something's wrong with you.
I love you guys.
He loves music. He knows I love Tupac. He pays attention when I talk. Not everyone does. So that's my guy.
God calls that favor. So I'm grateful. Yeah.
Listen, you know, this is what we are about. We appreciate you guys. We thank you. We uplift you. And we'll be there.
Thank you so much. And definitely, so we hope to see you if you can come at the event. Just let us know. We'll put you on the list.
All right. We'll be there. All right. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. We had a lot of fun.
All right. So what'd you think? So you owe me an apology because you was mad this morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I said. You did good, Tonya. You didn't let me know, but they were awesome. I enjoyed every last one of them. Those young people are really doing things, and that's what it's about, is the youth, and getting involved with them is something that we all should think about doing. And now that I'm approaching retirement and stuff, I have something else I can maybe volunteer at and do something with, support some kind of way, because you know me, I'm about supporting. So I think I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says that I'm about supporting, and stuff. So but it was awesome. Awesome. They were awesome guests. And those who are not familiar with the center, get familiar with it. They do a lot of great things for people, women and men that are victims of domestic violence and things like that. So if you have a chance to support them in any kind of way, you should do that too. Yeah.
In case y'all haven't noticed, I like doing this to Gia. She always starts the show like skeptical, and then she ends on a high note, and it brings me joy to see that. No, it brings me joy to know that I can still do that. Okay. Like I love it. So, thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you for tapping in. Thanks for the comments, the birthday wishes, but more than anything, for being a part of this community. Our My Morning Coffee community is what helps us to elevate other voices and other people doing great things in the communities that they're in. And that's what it's all about. So anything before we get out of here, Miss Gia?
No, if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can find me on the gram at the Mahogany Box. That's the business side. But if you want to, catch up with me on a personal level, you can also get a hold of me on the gram at I am Gia Sneed, stuff. So that's my personal one. But anything that's related to business, all the things that I make and create and stuff, if you want to get a hold of me there, it's the Mahogany Box.
And she does separate the two. So don't hit her up on her personal talking about business, because you might get deleted. But thank you guys for showing up. Tonya McKenzie PR on all social media platforms, or Sand and Shores. Other than that, we'll see you soon.